What's up, y'all? Polo Sports Talking Entertainment here again with another one. Be sure to hit that like button, sub to the channel if you're not a member, and also hit the notification so that you're able to get all of my content and all of my videos. Okay, now I am really shocked by the Suns, the Phoenix Suns, right now at this point in time. Now I know it's only been a few games. It's only been 3 games and everything. But this is similar to, you know, what took place to a certain degree what happened last year when you consider when Chris Paul had went out, or CP3 had went out. Now, although he didn't go out for long, um, the Suns, uh, they looked like their confidence was shot. I'm talking about last year and everything when he had went out, for that short period of time that he had went out or whatever, very, real brief. But this to me, it's not defining them so much. But what I will say is that there is an area for concern. Um, Other players are gonna have to step it up. Okay, whether people want to hear that or not. I understand the leadership that Chris Paul entails. I understand that. I understand, his playmaking is very much needed, and I understand that very few or really no point guards in the league who I've seen personally can really match a guy like Chris Paul, especially when we talk about prototypical point guard. Okay. Um, the concern is that, and the question is though, can they sustain this level of play, being that they don't have Chris Paul? Um, I'm pretty sure that when he gets back, they'll hit the ground again and they'll run. They'll be running again. But you just hope that nothing takes place because, contrary to what some people may think, they think that this is something that I'm cheering about or something like that, and it's not, because I'm pretty sure they would have, if they had Chris Paul, they would have beat the Jazz. I'm I'm definitely, let's just take it all the way back to when they played the both the Pelicans and the OKC. I'm quite sure that, well, they beat OKC. Sorry about that. They beat OKC, but I'm quite sure that they would have beat the Pelicans. Now the Pelicans, they've been, like I said, they're actually, their record has been somewhat decent as of late, because the Pelicans, to my knowledge, with the exception of the Mavericks, the Pelicans are actually 2-0 because they beat the Lakers and they beat the Suns. So the Pelicans are really feeling themselves right now. They're really feeling themselves right now. But that's that's a whole nother story, and I'm not gonna go down that road. We're continuing to talk about Phoenix. Um, Look, I'm quite sure that you know Phoenix is gonna surge. I know that people tend to forget about these guys and everything, But it's going to be interesting to see um, how they respond to this type of adversity. They One thing that can be argued is that they have been able to be resilient, and that's what I was telling some of the guys earlier is that last season was truly a test, and they could have came back and they could have slacked it. They have not done that. They have, I mean, they've got way way better than what they were last year, and they just made a little some moves here and there. It wasn't that much, but they were they were still able to overpower what they did last year. Their record was better, or their record is better than what it was last year. I mean, they're coming out and they're playing lights out basketball, and nobody is talking about it. That's what I told Hitman X. Shout out to Hitman X. And you got to think about it. Their roster, they're capable of beating some of these teams. Now when we talk about guys like Holiday, and I'm talking about the point guard position, guys like that. You know, being able to step up and everything. We gotta look at that. And they need to be able to do that because I'm looking at, okay, how are they going to respond to this sort of adversity if this happens to take place? Knock on wood, in in the playoff situation. That's what we have to look at. Now, I still think that Phoenix still has a chance with Chris Paul. You never know. Um, I don't want him getting hurt again, but we do have to realize that Chris Paul is getting up there, despite how well he's been playing. But we'll have to see what takes place. This team right here is still a solid team uh, without Chris Paul, but they definitely need him. Um, this is another thing too. Monty Williams, he's gonna show his. I have a confidence in him that he's gonna show his coaching brilliance, even even without having his. In some people's eyes, they consider Chris CP3 the best player on their team. Not maybe the most talented or the most flashy, but the most important. He's the one that keeps the beat. He's the drum beat. He's the heartbeat, and he's the heart and soul of that team. No matter what you want to say, some people might say Devin Booker. Hey, that's your personal opinion, but to me, that ship doesn't float without CP3. Now he's gonna be out for 2 months. All right. Um, well, 6 to 8 weeks, whatever you want to call it, 6 to 8 weeks, whatever. Okay. Um, I'm just gonna say 2 months, and let's just take a look at their schedule, right? They've already went, 1 and 2 or whatever, and you'll have to hope that these guys don't lose the amount of ball games to where somebody could potentially catch them. And right now, I got my eyes on Memphis and Golden State, and of course, Golden State, they ended up during that collapse yesterday, as they lost to Dallas, and they actually blew a 19-point lead, and they were able to come back, you know, and those are some of the things that you have to look at. Now, when you look at the standings, and I'm gonna get to the schedule in just a second, you have to think, Memphis is not that far behind. They're not that far behind. They're only a game and a half behind. Uh, and Memphis could catch them and or catch the Warriors and potentially be second. And if if they continue to lose, or they go somewhere along the lines, depending on how many games they play. If they're reflecting, because right now they have a below 500 record, and I know it's only 3 games, but I'm looking at that sort of thing. Memphis could actually take the top spot. Memphis could actually capitalize upon that. So let's take a look at it. Now they have, and because I haven't looked at their schedule per se, but let's take a look at it real quick. Right. They just played the Jazz. Trailblazers. I know some people are still sleeping on the Trailblazers. That's hit or miss. They could potentially lose that game. New York, I could see them winning that game. Then they got the Bucks. They're pretty much their final rivals. They could potentially lose that game. Magic, I could see them winning. Then you got the Heat. They could potentially lose that game. Against the Raptors, they could potentially lose that game. I don't know about the Lakers. I don't know about yeah, I could see them beating the Lakers. Then they have the Pelicans again. I'm quite sure they possibly could be feeling some type of way with the Lakers. Rockets, they can get them. Then they got Chicago. Then they have the Kings. They can beat them. They got Timberwolves. Can't go to sleep on them. Can't go to sleep on the Nuggets. Can't go to sleep on the Sixers. Even though we've had our struggles against them. Definitely can't go to sleep on the Warriors, and can't go to sleep on the Grizzlies. So they have somewhat of a tough schedule. Some of those games are winnable games. So I'm looking at it like, okay, if you go somewhere along the lines of winning a whole lot more, especially when we talk about the 25 game. Well, now it's 22 games left, if I'm not mistaken. 22 games left. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, if they happen to be without Chris Paul that full length of time, which is the full 8 weeks, or the full 2 months, they would have to have a decent record. It can't be can't be like, okay, like how it's starting off now, 1-2. Can't be that way. They have to have a decent record in order for them to keep that number one spot. So it's going to be interesting to see. And some of those other teams, if they move up, if Memphis happens to move up, they happen to move up into the number one spot. Let's see. If Memphis happens to move up in the number one spot, because the Jazz and the Mavericks are winning. As a matter of fact, they just lost to the Jazz or whatever. So that would cause the Warriors to potentially move down if they lose another game. If they lose another game, or actually they would have to lose 2 games, and especially if Memphis wins. And right now, Memphis is hot, so that will cause the Grizzlies to take that 1 or 2 spot, and the Jazz could potentially move up. Even with Dinwiddie being with Dallas, I'm gonna talk about that too. We could see what potentially takes place. We could see what potentially takes place. But y'all, let me know what you think, man. Do you think the Suns have a shot at sustaining a winning record with Chris Paul? Um, Me myself personally, I think they'll get back into the swing of things. They'll be able to adjust. But hey, I could be wrong. But y'all let me know what you think. Leave your comments, like the video, share it, subscribe, hit the notifications, follow Sports Talk and Entertainment. I'll get at you later.